based off of my little firefighter experience and where I come from and how I produce videos, and we're both principle based. Um, what kind of experiences do you bring? I mean, you say you're from Brazil, so you see those crazy riders, but um, do you have like something like you ever had a second job? You ever had a like a real job because you've been young doing this forever? Like, what have you brought?
Yeah,
Like
so
life
I
experiences.
yeah.
Yeah. So life experiences that I'm bringing. So I ran the YouTube channel as like a side gig for quite some time. I could have taken it quote unquote full time, whatever that means, like relatively early on. But I am like weirdly enough, I'm a pretty risk averse person when it comes to things like that. I feel like I put a lot of my risk into riding. As we said, it's 37 times more likely to cause
Just
fatality or
one
whatever.
vice. I'll have one vice.
I'll have one thing, yeah, and I'll just put all my stats into that one of them. So I ran the channel as a side gig for a long time, but I used to work in like, so I got an economics degree, as I joke about on my channel sometimes, and I started working as a financial analyst for this really boring like travel management company. I was like, I wanted to kill myself. I was like in a spreadsheet monkey all day in like a cube, and I was like, man, this sucks. So I did that for like 6 months. And then I jumped ship to another job that was a lot of the same kind of stuff. I thought it'd be different, but it wasn't. And then I jumped to another job after that was a little bit better. I started kind of getting involved more in like data analysis and that kind of stuff. Still kind of like, crunching numbers. It was kind of like my thing. And all the while, the channel was kind of picking up and building up steam. And I was kind of keeping an eye on it, being like, hey, this could really turn into something. This could be cool. And then through 2018, I got the chance to work at, no, sorry, 2018. I got the chance to work at a startup, which is really, really like a really good experience. I got the chance to go out to California quite a bit and kind of meet with like really, really smart people. I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you where like you're in a room and then people are talking and then all of a sudden you're like, damn, I'm like not the smartest person in this room by like a country
That's
mile.
never happened to me at all. Never been in that
Really?
sit. No, I'm just kidding. That's happened. That's happened many times, man. That happens all the time.
Yeah, so I was just surrounded by these people that I felt like were incredibly thoughtful, incredibly intelligent. I love their approaches to problem solving. And I think that experience, like, dude, it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot that's helped me out in this year where I took the channel like super full time and
Yeah.
just like really got into it. And it just taught me how to like problem solve really. Like we used to have like these big whiteboarding sessions where we would, kind of like tackle different problems. It was a real estate startup, so they were like kind of like a tech real estate company. I won't say who it was, but you could be like, if you do a Google search, you'll probably find like 4 or 5 of them and probably figure out like which one it was. But yeah, so that was really cool. And then got the chance after working at that particular startup to work at another startup as well, much smaller, similar space, but it was a lot smaller. And so the types of problems I was solving were like way bigger, like because there was only like 40 or 50 people at this company. And so the type of things we were working on, I worked in the marketing department. So we were trying to figure out like how to optimize our ads and how to make content and how to do a bunch of cool stuff, which really aligned well with what I
Yeah.
do now.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And then there was a point in 2018, it was towards the end of 2018, like the channel was starting to like really pick up some steam. I was like, holy shit, like this is like blowing up. My boss actually brought me into a room because he knew that I was like really focused on the channel. And I mean, I was about to like, it was crazy because like a month before that, like we were talking about like me being promoted. I was going to become like, sort of director of this little like, organization we had or whatever. And then he turned to me and he was like, hey, I think you should go do your channel full time. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
okay. I was like, are you firing me? And he was like, no, I think like you're a really thoughtful guy and I can see you have a lot of potential doing this. And I think it would be best if you just went and did that because I think you will regret it if you don't. He was like, you got a really crazy thing going on and I like, how unique it is. Like not many people just have, at the time it was like 250,000 subscribers on the internet. He was like, you should definitely go try it. He's like, and if it doesn't work, you're a smart guy, you can always come back to work.
Yeah.
He was like, maybe here, maybe somewhere else. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. So really, if my former boss is watching this, which he might be, I don't know, but if you are watching it, that was a really pivotal moment for me where I was like, I should just go do this, and then I did.
That's pretty cool to have somebody that sees that and he's like your boss and he's like, "Hey, you're a bigger asset to what you're doing. I mean, you're a good asset to me, but it's like go do that." That's pretty cool. You don't
Yeah.
find those people.
No, he's
Typically,
a
they want
super
to
cool
keep you.
guy.
Yeah, they'll try to
Yeah.
promote you to keep you. Is that when
Yeah.
you decided to start adding people to your team? Because I think that's one of the biggest things like that a lot of YouTubers don't do, and I barely started doing. I barely got an accountant. Like I
Yeah.
barely have that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's huge. I didn't realize how much that would help me out just having an accountant. So I can't imagine having an editor. I mean, shoot, I don't even know what you have. What like do you have like what kind of team do you have around you?
Yes. Yeah, so I've got a full-time employee that works for me. His name is he goes by Spite. You've seen him in the videos. He's the big guy with the beard. Has a lot more hair than I do.
Yeah,
Um,
we're having that problem.
dude, yeah, we got that problem. Like I haven't shaved in a minute, but we got that problem.
I have my hat just in case
Um,
I needed my hat, but
yeah, people always just chime in. It's like, oh, fucking Chrome Dome, this and that. Like, and then you don't want to get self-conscious. You're like, man, shut the fuck up about my hair. But yeah, so I've got Jake. He's a full time with me, and then I've got another guy called Nick who helps research and write a lot of the videos because a lot of the lists we do require a lot of like back end like research about which bike is this, the price points, and all. So he helps out a lot with that. And then I've got a like sort of customer support person that helps with the website and helps with like the Discord and stuff. So she'll go in and like answer like emails that people have about like their subscriptions and all this stuff because we moved away from Patreon. We have
yeah,
our own thing now on our own
I
website.
still need to switch to your website. I haven't done that
Dude,
yet.
that was like a 2 month like, oh my god, talk about like not having time, like on these calls, these developers trying to figure out our website. That was crazy. It was worth it, but that was crazy. So I got her, I've got the accountant, I've got a tax person, I got a legal person for like back end stuff, and I think that's it as far as people who are like actually in the everyday type of stuff.
So for the difference between probably I think back in 2016 when I emailed you versus now, has it made your life easier or has it just flipped things around, but it's still as hard, but things are just you see it.
Oh, it's made it phenomenally easier because, like you said, even just having the accountant, once you can offload the mental load about thinking about certain things, you just free up the ability to like think about other stuff and make content and think about what it is that you're good at. And I realized that like it was actually really humbling because before I brought on my editor and the writer and the researcher, I was very precious about my content. I was like, only I can make this. Only I know how
Yes.
to edit these videos. Only I know how to write them. Only I can be in them. Like, it can only be me. But then, like, the first video we put out where someone else edited it and it did just as fine or even better, I was like, oh, like, I'm not special at all. Like, my ability to edit is not special in any capacity.
Yeah.
And it was really humbling, but also really great when I realized that. I was like, oh, cool. Like, that means that I can now pay someone else to do this, and I can focus on making even better content.
Yeah,
So it's great, man. I would say whenever you're able to get an editor because it makes an enormous difference, an enormous difference.
that's kind of a I mean, I feel the same way. I was like, only I know how I edit, but then I realized there's better editors, there's somebody else out there on top of freeing the
Yeah.
time. But the hard part is finding somebody.
Oh yeah.
I found somebody to do the research on some topics and wrote out something and it actually like the amount of research I would have had to do it freed up a lot of that. I mean, I still had to film it. I still had to do that. I mean, 20-minute filming turned into an 8-minute video, but it's still different and it worked out really well. And for what like my level is, I think that's what I can do. But man, having an editor that takes up my whole time. Like editing just forever and ever.
I used to call it being in the dungeon, where you're editing
Right
and
here.
that dungeon, in the literal dungeon.
Yeah. I should put chains on this fake brick wall.
That might get a little kinky.
Yeah. Oh yeah, never mind. I won't. I don't want to do that. Man. So editing. So you got a full team around you. You have to pay them. You have employees.
I do have to pay them. Yeah, I wish I could fight, but I do have to pay him.
No, that's cool though. I mean, because you're responsible. I mean, you're the face, and then you're the I guess talent. Because I mean, you're reading it. You're giving your own personality into it. I mean, how do you feel now though? I mean, like you have that team. So I just said you're the talent, but how do you feel? Where do you fit in that little circle? You're not the editor. You're not the researcher. You're not customer service. Like who are you now? I want to know because I want to know what I have to be.
I feel like my main objective right now is to one, be the face of the channel and the brand of the channel. I just try to present myself in the best light possible and the best way to add to that inclusivity and that mission statement. And then two, I really feel like the people on our Patreon, our Discord, our website, that's where my biggest value is. Like, those people have very graciously opened up their wallets, their time, like have decided to support me on this like next level, as opposed to just like watching a video or just clicking like. They've decided that they want to really commit to the channel, and I feel like it still like humbles me to see all those people in our Discord server, and you're in there, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I like it. It's fun in there.
Yeah, yeah. And I just want to, give most of my time to those people. And I feel like, I just try to be in there as much as possible, answering questions, being active and, in there with people, and just, letting them know that I'm a real dude and I'm here, and, you can talk to me, and I'm on the Discord server. And I feel like that's where my highest value is added.
I think that that's a huge thing. Like it's not necessarily about my growth of my channel being community based, but the moment I stopped caring about the trends and the analytics as much, I focused on developing a community. It just so much growth, but then at the same time, I actually get to see who I'm interacting with, and not a number. And Discord made a huge difference with that. Patreon also, but are you able to focus more on the community now that you have more of a team?
Yeah,
I think that's probably one of the biggest things then. Yeah, I'm just trying. I'm picking your brain, trying to figure out.
I will say, like, I had a similar thing where, I'm always mindful of analytics. I check in maybe like once or twice a week. I used to check in like every day, but now I check in like once or twice a week, just to make sure things are kind of flowing smoothly. But to your point, I really feel like when you focus less on the numbers and more on people, it makes everything so much better. It's just, I feel like the numbers and all that are a function of how much you help and give value to people,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So whatever you can do to like add to your community on your Patreon, whatever you can do to help them, like, because I feel like the people who support you on there, what would you say they're like kind of looking for? What do you think they want from you?